All right, good day. Literally on the home stretch. Today, gonna be kind of heading to the finish line. I got this last little corner too that I was percolating yesterday, so I got it all ready to go. We're gonna strip this off and get this sanded. Everything else is pretty much done. I worked on it. I got all the little finishing stuff. There's probably a little bit of things to do. I'm sure I'll find more when I clean, feel any rough spots and have to clean those up. But let's go around the other side and I'll show you kind of the finished product over there. Got everything all kind of finalized here. I got it all cleaned up real nice. It looks good. There's a couple, little inconsistencies there, but I didn't want to put the Bondo on too thick. I do have a guard that goes over this, so we'll put a little bit of lipstick on that and kind of cover up some of those imperfections. But this all smoothed out really nice. This is probably just shy of a 16-inch thick, so it's not too thick at all. I got all these buttoned up, all the plug welds. This is just a really thin skim coat. And then up here, I got all the body lines kind of cleaned up. I did get some Bondo in the crack there, but by the time we paint it black, it'll blend right in. And then all these are cleaned up. And then this is just a super thin skim coat. This was just to kind of blend out the transition a little bit. There was a little bit of a unevenness when I put this panel on. So, but everything is all on. I got the post-production fixed here as well. This was pretty chewed up. So I just put a skim coat on it, sanded it. I'm sure there's a little bit I'll have to do there to clean that up, but it's on the inside of the door, so I'm not really worried about it. Everything else in there is all done. I just got basically cleaning to do. So all in all, so far, it's a success. So I want to get this last little bit done, and then the object is to get it clean tonight. I'm going to tape and mask, get everything ready to go for primer. Then tomorrow, as soon as I get home from work, I'm going to shoot it with the primer. The primer that I bought is actually, where did I put it? I literally just had the can. So this is the primer that I bought. I got it off Amazon. It's a 2-in-1 filler sandable. It's made by Rust-Oleum. And the reviews on this were actually really good. It goes on pretty thick, so it should just be a single coat application. And then I can just do a 600 grit, just a finish, kind of leveling out with the block sander. I got a couple varying lengths. So I just want to smooth everything out and get that finish ready to go. And then I want to give a big shout out real quick to the paint people that helped me out today. It's called Ken Brault. They're here off of 10 in the Beltway in Houston. Super helpful. The team over there, the girls behind the counter, and then the technical guy that I talked to on the phone, they answered all my questions without even, I told them what I was doing and what I was up against. And not only did they take the time to explain it, they actually gave me a complete set of instructions on mixing the paint and what to set the gun to, the pressure and the flow, what tip to use. So yeah, drying time, how much time between coats, all that sort of stuff. So what to clean the gun with, I didn't even buy any of that stuff from them, and they still took the time to help me out. So real quick, here's what I got from them. I obviously got the paint. So this is a single stage acrylic. This is the factory black color. They mixed it right in front of me while I was waiting. It took them about 10 minutes. They mixed it and they calculated how much I needed. They gave me almost a gallon, which will be enough to do the Jeep, and then I'll have a bit extra just in case there's something I want to do later, like the doors or whatever. So they gave me a bunch of filters to filter the paint. And not only did they do all that, they gave me all the kit to go with it. So I got the mixing cups. There's, 3 or 4 of them in there. And they also marked on it what my mixing ratio is, which is a 4 to 1 to 1. She told me where to fill the paint to and what scale to use. She actually wrote right on the container in Sharpie, which was just awesome. And then I got, they actually sold me on this. It's called Acryliclean. It's a wax and grease remover. It's an industrial stuff. So after I shoot the primer, after I sand it, I just have to do a quick wipe with this, and then just basically let it dry, and then I can go right to paint. So I've got the hardener and the reducer all here in this in the box with mixing cups and the stir sticks and the paint pourer. So just a super group over there, and I'm really thankful to them for helping me out. So let's get cracking into this so that we can get it over the line here before I have to go. All right, stick around. Okay, let's get this last bit off here. Oh yeah, like it just comes right off, even with the cellophane. It's right in the garbage. Okay, I got a little bucket here. I don't know if I can push this right into it. Tanya warned me about this. She said if you leave it too long and it dries, you're gonna have to redo the application, but I think I got most of it off. I might have to sand a little bit, but it's falling right off. Some of it looks like I missed, which is unfortunate. Yeah, some of it I missed. I left it for too long. So that's on me. Repeat after me. I will not put rhino liner on my body of my Jeep. I will not put rhino liner on the body of my Jeep unless I plan on owning it to the grave. I saw one for sale the other day at home. The guy, it was an 02, it's an Apex edition, the same one that my son bought. And he wanted $15,000 Canadian for it. So that's like 8,000 American, give or take. And he said right on the ad, maybe I'll show it to you. It was, I recently Raptor lined it, but now it's fading it's faded. It's like, well, yeah. Of course it faded. And he wanted 15,000. I'm like, well, you should probably deduct about 5,000 or 6,000 because you put rhino liner all over it. It's just my personal opinion. You can tell my disdain for doing this. And I don't mean to poke fun at people that, think it looks good or whatever. It's just, it is not my cup of tea at all. I know when Tanya did it, it was definitely a lot easier. I didn't do it right. Blame Tanya, it's her fault. All right, here we are back again at the LJ. I got everything all sanded, and as you can see, I got a little happy with the primer paint and sprayed it. Have you ever watched something or, seen a demonstration and thought, hey, I could do that. That looks really easy. Kind of like the Australian breakdancer at the Olympics. I think that was the very first time in history I've ever watched the Olympics and went, yep, I could actually compete. This is not one of those times. I have to hand it to automobile painters and body people. It's truly an art form. It really is. They say that, repetition builds confidence. Nope, it really doesn't. Repetition builds frustration. And I really wish I got somebody that could do this kind of thing. So anyway, I'm moving along. I primed it. I did this whole side, burned a can of primer, and then I realized when you really put paint on it, it really shows how lackluster the preparation was. So I ended up sanding a bunch of it again and cleaning it up some more. And then I burned another can, recoating it, and it's pretty thin in spots. So I'm gonna do another can because, you know, why not just keep piling on and see if I can get it to kind of even out. I need it to be a bit thicker, obviously, for when I block sand it with my 600 grit sandpaper, when I try and level it, that there's meat there to level. So right now I'm just gonna clean it and then go through that process. So I'll videotape this one, just kind of going through it. I can see a few little things, but honestly, I'm not even gonna worry about it. For a garage paint job, I think it's gonna be just fine. So I have painted the other side as well, but I don't want to spoil that one yet because I want to show that side completely finished with paint and everything. So the plan for tonight is to get this finished primed. I'm going to put another coat on the other side, and then I'm going to work on the back here. I got to get it all masked and cleaned and then primed, and then prime it again later tonight to put the other coat on it. And then tomorrow I'm going to clean it, well, level it, clean it really good with that fancy degreaser stuff that the paint store sold me. And then if my air compressor shows up, which it was supposed to yesterday, still hasn't, I'm going to try and shoot a coat of paint before I have to leave for Canada. So that's the plan now. I've really been kind of cranking at this thing and working on it and trying to prepare it. So let's do a quick walk and I'll show you kind of what I'm facing, and then we'll get after it here. You can kind of, I don't know, it'll be hard to see on the camera, but you can see the dark spots where it's thinner than in other areas. And of course, there's some little, you know, places that could have been sanded better. Really, if you look at it at the angle, you can really see the spray marks. So I just got some cleanup to do down here. Here it's on this fender and on the quarter, it's really thin in spots. So I'm just gonna clean it and then throw another coat on it here and see if I can get it to thicken up. So let's get after that. Okay, so I just wiped it all down and the rag's not even really dirty. This degreaser stuff that I bought is really, really good stuff. And honestly, I've degreased this so many times, it's drier than a popcorn fart at this stage. So this little exercise was just more about getting the dust off. But this stuff that they sold me does take a little bit to dry. That was one thing they warned me about. So you basically got to spray it on right away and then dry it. And a little bit goes a really, really, really long way. So I did do it. I thought the camera was on, but apparently it wasn't. So anyway, it's all ready to go. I'll give it a minute here and then we'll throw a little bit thicker coat over this and see if I can, you know, get the dark spots and try and cover it a little more evenly. Hindsight being 84/60, I probably should have used the gun and got good primer. But I bought that stuff in the can because it seemed like, you know, it's a 2-in-1, it's a primer plus filler. I thought I could cheat it a little bit, but honestly, I don't think I gained anything. So chalk it up to a learning experience. You know, it kind of is what it is. All right, let's see if we can hit this thing here. Okay, SEMA, here we come. Nope. This stuff aerosols really, really thin. Like, I mean really thin. I need to hold it a bit closer. Nope. Definitely don't want to do that. I'm really hoping when I hit this with the 600 grit that I can get this to level out. I'm just afraid to go anything, you know, like a 400 grit or less, because then I'll just be taking it all off again, which I really don't feel like doing. Oh, that's running. Ah! Nuts and bolts. starting to feel a bit woozy. Probably should have wore a mask. I definitely will when I shoot that urethane. It says in, you know, using a well-ventilated area. The garage door's open with a slight breeze, which probably isn't making this any easier. There's a ding back here. The things you notice. Okay. Another can. Woohoo! Okay, I got 2 decently thick coats of primer on each side. So for 5 cans, 3 on this side and 2 on that side. Yep, that's a lot. So now I'm going to concentrated on the back here. I want to get 2 coats of primer on this tonight before I go to bed, and then tomorrow, before I leave, because I board a flight, I want to get this board sanded and a coat of paint on it. Apparently after you coat with this primer, if you're going to wet sand, they said you can do it, you know, basically half an hour, 15 minutes, half hour after you paint it. But if you dry sand it, which I'm going to do, it says to wait 1.5 to 2 hours. But I noticed the other day when I was wet sanding this, I'd left it for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, and it was still, it plugged up the sandpaper pretty easily. So I'm going to leave it sit overnight. That way I know it's, you know, we're pretty high humidity right now because it was supposed to rain. So I'm just going to give it that little bit extra time, maybe put a fan on tonight here in the garage and let it kind of percolate. So that's where we're going now. And this, you know, truth be told, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this. As you can tell, there's still some thick paint on there. But this is all pretty much blind. With the tailgate going on, this is all going to be covered. Then with the tail light, that's all covered. So there's really just a small section that's showing. And then on this side, I sanded it really, really good because it's going to have a lot more visibility. But then with the spare tire and everything on, you're just not going to see anything. And if somebody's coming in here looking, yep, nope, not happening. I'm going to have to fix a dent if that's the case. I hate taping and masking. I really, really do not like it. Hence the reason why I never got into automotive painting. Because if I understand it right, the first 8.5 years of your apprenticeship, all you do is you mask. They don't let you paint. I don't know. I just know it was like that when I was an electrician. For a long time, all you did was just fetch stuff out of the van and hung boxes. So I don't suspect automotive stuff would be that much different. There, good enough. Okay, see if I can make a big mess. Fortunately, I bought another spray bottle because apparently the O-rings in these cheap pressurized spray bottles don't like that solvent. So, and also the cheap ones just burn up after the first use. Okay, I got 2 more cans of primer, so that should be enough, I hope. This stuff's different. This is a filler primer. The other one was 2-in-1, and this one seems to be a bit better. This is one I bought at the local hardware store instead of off of Amazon. And it was the same price. This one seems to be way better. I got a good ding there. Man, once you put the primer on it, everything just shows. Good from far, but far from good. Like, really far from good. Oh. This stuff dries pretty quickly. And I can tell when I haven't hit a spot very good, because by the time I come back over it, if it's still dry, or if it's dry, I know I didn't get it very good. So we'll just burn up this can, I think. And then when I go over it with the sandpaper, we'll just level it as best we can. And then hit it. Yeah, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Okay, good. Late morning. A little bit of a panic mode. I'm supposed to be on a plane in a few hours. So the air compressor didn't show up like it was supposed to, and just it's been a gong show, and I really wanted to get a coat of paint on before I left. So I kind of scrambled, and yeah. So let's level some expectations. 97.6% of any good paint project is in the preparation. You know, sanded, just technique, all that sort of stuff. Yep, don't really have that. The other 94.3% is in the area in which you're painting, i.e. a paint booth with filters and controlled humidity and temperature and all that sort of stuff. Yep, not there either. Then the other 98.34% is in the spraying technique. And yep, never done it before. So I got a new gun. It's an LVLP, low volume, low pressure. And there's a bunch of knobs and settings for flow and this and that. And yeah, I mean, there's only so much instructions can tell you. So I did a bunch of test sprays on a box and some paper and trying to get the flow and the pattern right to get it so it would come out kind of evenly. And well, I did the first coat and probably only coat on this side of the Jeep. I got some runs, but you know, the plastic kind of draped down and got on the paint, so I thought I'd correct it and ended up running it. So the rest of it all looks okay. There's some thin spots and there's some more runs, some bad sanding. Maybe it'll buff out. Nope, it won't. Yep, so I think I'm going to put a pin in this for now until we get back, and then I can really spend some time. But this paint is expensive. It's like $280 for a gallon, so I really don't want to waste it. But again, you know, this isn't going to SEMA or to any show things. This is, my objective was to get it better than a spray can job, but obviously not as good as a $5,000 paint job in a professional booth. It's kind of going for the 40, you know, 40 miles an hour or 40 feet away. And I'm almost there. All right, good day. We're back. And it's hot.
It is hot.
We're already melting.
So hot.
So we made it back from Canada, back in home territory. And I got my partner in crime back from a month layaway from all the...
LJ?
I was really hoping that
the fairy would come in and poof.
That some little elves or a fairy or something would have come in and
no such luck.
Taken care of the misery part. It's just the paint. If it was, you know, changing tires or something simple, then I'm all for it. But paint is the worst.
You've never liked paint?
No.
Never liked paint.
No.
No.
Tanya's the painter in the family.
I'm the
so,
painter.
Yeah, we're going to tackle this. So I think I said on the last little segment there that, you know, is the one and only coat. That's not
true. There's going to be at least 2 more coats that need to go on this. And I think some of the unevenness and stuff was probably in my prep, in the paint.
Maybe.
I was thinking back, maybe I didn't stir it or mix it properly in the gun.
Yeah.
But
Could be.
I got some cardboard and stuff. We're gonna, it's good to have another set of eyes. So you're gonna help me set that spray pad. Ooh, bless you.
Allergies.
Just don't get it on the paint.
Sneeze over there.
We got to get the atomization. Apparently that's a thing.
Sure.
And you got to get that to come uniform out of the gun.
Yes.
So it's pressure, flow, all these types of things.
Professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that we are not. So I got a couple little runs that we got to sand. I got some 600 grit or 800 grit. I think I read that 1,000 grit is good between layers, but because of these runs and stuff, I'm going to try and clean them up a little bit. And
I think we're just fine, personally.
yeah, but there's just a few things that I want to kind of fix. So we're going to get mixing on paint, get the air compressor all set up and get the paint gun going. And then we'll bring you along for the ride. All right, stick around. All right, good. Still morning. We're about an hour later. So with Tanya's magical help, the first batch I mixed, I went to the 5 instead of the 4 because I was looking at the wrong scale for the paint. So then I tried to match it with the hardener and the other stuff. And it wasn't coming out of the gun quite right. It looked like it was coming more clear than anything. So I kind of did what I could with it. And then kind of wasted a little bit. But so we did a second coat on it and it spread out really, actually pretty nice and even. There's a few little thin spots, but we went over it. And now here, I'll spoil it. I'll show you kind of around. If you look down the side, we'll get into the light a bit better. But if you run down the side, you can see it's with the light on it. It actually looks really good. Now there's a clear spot up here on the seam because I actually just sprayed this again. So this is dry and this is wet. So it should kind of even out once it dries. But all in all, I think it turned out really good for a garage paint job. This is the other side. I dripped some sweat when I was painting. And yeah, we're just gonna leave that for now. But here's the bodywork side. So you can see I just feathered the Bondo in, got it all to kind of match. It's not perfect, not even near perfect. Again, there's a couple little thin spots that I can see now that it's drying, but it might dry a little bit more even. Got all the door sill painted. This was the weld. You can see there's a couple little bubbles there on the Bondo where I didn't sand it really good. But again, I'm not overly worried about it. And then shooting it down with the kind of the light, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. It's good, but not great. And then there's the back. So there's no light back here, but it's basically the same. We have pretty much 2 full coats. What's happening? I'm a little woozy. I was wearing a mask, like a proper mask, but it's still thick. So, you know, for a garage paint job, I think we're definitely on the right track. So now we are gonna go enjoy some time back in Houston before it gets hot, unbearably hot. And then this afternoon, I cleaned up the gun and everything, but this afternoon I think we'll shoot one more coat, Tone, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one more. And then I think that then you're just covering paint to cover paint.
Yeah, so Tanya makes a good point. One more coat, or otherwise you're just using paint to cover paint. So, and then I have the Meguiar's, I think it's the ultimate one, to cut and kind of polish. So I think we can get it reasonably good. So like I said, we're gonna shoot a second coat or a third coat, and then I'm going to buff it, and I'll show that in the next episode when we do the trim and get it all together, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like after, and then we'll do the big reveal. So again, appreciate y'all and your time and following along with this. This has been kind of a motivation,
Yep, that too.
a thing for me, because otherwise I probably would have abandoned this.
He actually really likes the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, and like always, like, subscribe. Definitely, I say it on every one, and there's a handful of you that comment, on every episode, and I appreciate it. It definitely means a lot. It's that encouragement to just keep plowing ahead. So, thank you very much. See you on the next one.